Hey everybody, today I'm going to start some plants, and it's pretty early for us to do that here because it is before 1st of February. Our last frost is the end of May, but I've got a couple plants that I think are going to be a little bit slow, so I want to try them. So I'll start some now, I'll start some a little bit later, and we'll kind of go from there. I also have some Ranunculus that I'm going to plant up, and then a couple plants that need to be cold stratified. So we're going to give it a start. I'm going to start with my soil. And this year I am going to try soil blocking for the first time. So that'll be kind of interesting. So I just got some basic seed starting mix. I don't know how much I'm going to need. And I do have an assistant today. So my mother-in-law Pat's here and she's going to help me out a little bit. We'll get our hands dirty a little bit. I don't know how much we're going to need for water either. Glad I have this thing. I would have made a mess otherwise. So a tub might be better. Let's see if we can pull it up to you a little bit more. This is where I miss being in the greenhouse, where I can make a mess and not have to worry.
Yeah.
We mixed that soil and water long enough so that when we press it, it would hold its shape, but when we squeezed it, not a lot of water would come out of it.
Okay, now, have you ever seen one of these gadgets before? I've never used one before, but it's a soil blocker, and it creates little squares of soil, so I'm going to stuff them in here. Oops, I'm going to make a mess. I can tell you that much. So then I'm going to push these in.
That soil blocker was surprisingly easy to use. We'd push that soil into each square. We didn't want to compact it too much. We wanted to be able to keep some of that airiness in the soil block.
Okay, here's where the magic happens. So let's see how well we do here. So our first soil block, I'm going to put that right over here. See how they hold up. Do I need more water? I think those look pretty good. Let's see. Well, that's as good as they're going to get for this batch.
We repeated the process until our tray was full. We did have one block that collapsed on us, so we filled up one single block. We were able to pop it out and put it into the empty spot on the tray.
Put that there. Now to figure out which seeds we're going to do first. So I think we'll try some of this pumpkin on a stick. Remember seeing the video on that one? So I think what we're going to do is we'll do a row of 4. So I'm just going to take, oh boy, they're not too bad. We're going to do these 4 here, so I'm going to just pop one in there. I should have tweezers, shouldn't I? You know what we're going to do? We'll use the wet toothpick or skewer or something. Let's see what we have in here. So what I'm going to do is pick it up here. That will be much better.
These seeds were about the size of a green pepper seed. It made things easier when I wet the end of the cooking thermometer. Normally I'd use a toothpick, but that's what I had handy. And then I could use that wet tip to pick up the seeds and then place them in the soil. Just made it really easy to be able to move them around. Well, Pat covered the seeds, I added the tags, and then we moved on to the purple bell vine.
It's a package inside of a package. Oh boy, these are nice and tiny.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, aren't those? So we're going to try to get one in there. Now these we don't cover, so don't cover these. Actually, I shouldn't put them on there. I should do this more because I don't want those to get covered.
These seeds were so tiny. I'll admit I have no idea how many seeds ended up in each block, but I'm not too worried. This variety needs light to germinate, so it's important that we didn't cover it with soil. And I have to say, I'm a little disappointed in Park Seed, where I got them from, because there was no indication on their website or on the seed packet that they needed light to germinate. And that might explain why when I tried these in the past, I didn't have success. I don't remember if I had let them be in the light or if I had buried them. If I had buried them, there'd be no hope. So we're going to wait and see if this makes a difference.
Seed inside a seed. Okay, let's see what this one brings us. Ooh, these are really tiny.
The yarrow seeds were a bit like itty bitty particles of sawdust. So we just dusted them into place, doing the best we could, then covered them with soil. We'll see. We may have tons of seeds that germinate, or we might not have any. We'll wait and see how that goes. Oh man, I can't even see those. We're just gonna hope for the best here. I don't know, I couldn't even see those, so if I don't have Torenia, I don't have Torenia. Now we have Coleus. I think these are going to be small too. Oh, these are pelleted seeds. I'm going to go get some tweezers. Okay, don't tell Lizzie I took her Sephora tweezers.
Oh.
It'll be our little secret, okay? So these here, they're called pelleted seeds, so they have like a little coating on them so that they're thicker. Otherwise they would be smaller than that, which is pretty crazy. Okay, so now to try to get these in. One. I'm going to do one per. Got the room right now.
Pelleted seeds are so nice to work with. It's a bit like a candy coating that's going to quickly disintegrate when it gets in contact with moisture. So that outer shell breaks down very, very quickly, and then you're left with just the seed in the exact spot that it needs to be.
After I finished planting, I remembered that Coleus also need light to germinate. Since I had some seeds left, I just placed them on the corner of each of the soil blocks with the thought that even if the original ones germinate, it won't be too hard to separate them out. And if the original ones don't make it, there's less of a chance of me wasting a soil block. So I'm gonna move that out of the way. I have another job. Are you up for it? Are you up for one more job? Okay. So these little beasts, these are Ranunculus corms, which are kind of like a bulb. And I got these at Tractor Supply. And they had them with the amaryllis at Christmas time. So I kept looking at them, but then they were only $3 now after the new year. So I got them for $3, which means like $3 per corm, or $1 per corm, which I looked online. A lot of times they run like between 75 cents and $3. So I thought that would be a good price. So what I want to do is we need to put 2.5 cups. This is a whole kit. So it came with a plate, and then there's also these little soil discs. So we're going to add water to the soil. So I'm going to pop these out. I'll keep that water. So now I want to get to 2.5 cups. Where's the 2.5 cups? There it is.
The ranunculus corms, they were dried and they needed to be soaked in water overnight before planting. I have to admit that watching them go from these dried up little roots to these plump tendrils gives them kind of this weird alien vibe.
Here's what they look like. They kind of look like a rose.
Yeah.
But they're different. They like it cooler. They don't like the heat. So they're more of a spring.
Yeah.
I think the pink, this has the potential of being my favorite, but we'll see. Let's see now. Well, it's sucking it up, but it's going to be a little while.
They take about 15 minutes to absorb all that water. I'm sure the soil discs, they did not need our help, but we both kind of enjoyed breaking them up and fussing with them as they were taking on the water. So that was kind of fun, I gotta admit.
Yours feels wetter than mine. Mine feels a little drier. I thought I measured the same. Yours still has water sitting in it. Well, I think we should put... I think there's room for extra soil in these, so we can use this stuff in here. What we have to do is plant these. So these will be pointing down, 1 inch down. So like I'm going to just stick my finger in, put one in, put my finger in, I think kind of down to the knuckle. Here, I'll make the holes. There we go. If you want to try to stick those in, okay, here, you can rinse your hands in there, so you can just, and where's the towel? Give you that. We'll let that one keep soaking. I'll put the soil in this one.
Next up, we had seeds that needed winter stratification, which basically means they need a cold period in order for them to germinate. So we basically simulate winter by placing the seeds in the fridge.
So we're going to start with this one, and then we're going to spray it, because that'll help the seeds to stick a little bit. And then, let's see, these are poppies. Oh. So these are going to be small. So we're just going to there's a couple still in there. So then we're going to close this. Here, yeah, if you can hold the bag open for me. Perfect. And then there are several methods to do this. I went with the Ziploc and wet paper towel technique, which you then put in the fridge for a couple weeks. This fools the seeds into believing that they've gone through winter, and when they come out, they are ready to sprout. Before I tell you how we wrapped up those projects, I do want to remind you I am relatively new to this whole seed starting thing. So if there was anything that you noticed in this video and what I was doing that kind of raised the alarm for you, make sure you leave a comment and let me know maybe your suggestions or how you do it, because your comments have been so valuable to me. I genuinely appreciate it. You guys have taught me so much. A lot of things I was really nervous about, people really reassured me or gave me suggestions that are, I think, going to help me out through this whole process. One of the comments mentioned that the Bells of Ireland, which I am cold stratifying right in that fridge right now, somebody had mentioned, you know, you're in zone 5, you can just put those out right now, put them on the ground, and they'll get cold stratified outside, and then when they get when everything thaws, then they're going to grow. They just need to make sure that they're exposed to light. I think that's the same thing for the poppies too. So I have a couple little poppy seeds left. I'll try them, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to maneuver through them because they're so tiny. But hey, it's just really helpful to get the comments, so keep it up. Also, hats off to my assistant. Pat was absolutely fantastic. I'm so thrilled. She's going to be 90 in March, and she is still very interested in doing projects like this and getting involved, and she's good company as well. I'm very lucky. Not everybody has a mother-in-law who's as sweet as she is. So hey, if you want, go ahead and leave her a comment. She'd really appreciate anything that you guys have to say. And otherwise, getting back to those soil blocks, before I were to put them into my grow area, I did spray them or mist them because I want to make sure the tops had a good amount of moisture. I do not want that to dry out in any way. So then I took them to our special grow area. It's completely makeshift. It's in the dining room, it's on the floor, and it's under a chair. I took 2 shop lights from the basement and just put them on there. The numbers on the shop lights, I think they sound like they're what I need. So the lumens was 5,500, which seems pretty good. And then the temperature was 4,500 K. So from what I've read and what I've seen, that should work just fine for seed starting. So I just kind of used what I had to make this whole thing work. When I put the tray kind of under the lights, I did then water. I made sure and water the tray. I did not want to get water on the soil blocks because they're going to just fall apart if I pour water on top of them. So I made sure those were really well saturated, and then I did put a layer of just some saran wrap just because I want to keep that humidity in there. It might be a little tricky because I know as soon as they start to germinate, I want to take that saran wrap off, but because the different plants might be germinating different times, it might cause a little bit of a problem, I'm not sure. So we'll wait and see, I'll keep you posted. But thank you guys very much again for all the comments. I also should probably tell you about, what was the Ranunculus. We put that on the windowsill. Those pots don't have those drainage holes, so I don't have to worry about that, but I probably will drill holes in there later on. The thing about the Ranunculus, the instructions say keep them in like a 70-degree area for 2 or 3 weeks, and then put them in a colder area between, I think it was 40 and 50 degrees for another 3 weeks, and then bring them out back into the 70 degree. I don't think we necessarily have a spot in the house that's consistently between 40 and 50 degrees, I think is what they recommended. So I'll probably just take them down in the basement. I know that, cuckoo clock, I do know that the basement is usually around 60 degrees, so it's a little cooler. We have a couple spots that stay nice and cool, like the kind of entryways to the back door, and then we have another section of the basement that's under the porch, but I think those will get too cold when we get our sub-zero temperatures. So I don't know, unless I got some kind of thermometer that would alert me, but I probably won't go through that trouble. I'm going to probably just put them in the basement, keep them a little cooler, and then bring them up later, see what happens. If it all fails, well, it was an experiment. It was all worthwhile. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you guys all next time. I promise I will keep you updated on these. I have a habit with seeds of either they turn out fantastic for me or they just completely die. So if I have some failures, I'll share that with you as well. So talk to you guys all next time.